Hey everybody, Dr. RJ here, your president of the Colorado Chiropractic Association for our weekly update. Today I have the honor and privilege of interviewing one of our district directors. He currently serves in District Number 1, and his name is Dr. John Steffens. So, Dr. John, how are you today, my friend?
I am well, Dr. RJ. Thanks for having me on. Good to be here with y'all.
Absolutely, man. I just wanted to get the people of Colorado, all the chiropractors, to get to know our district directors. And John, tell me if I'm correct. I think I'm right that you started on the board in 2020, correct?
2020. Yeah, I was appointed in the summer of 2020. I guess there was an opening. The previous District 1 director had to leave for personal reasons, and so there was an opening at the director position. You and I had been conversing over some issues in chiropractic, and you're like, hey, we got a need on the board. Would you like to join? I said, sure. So that was July, maybe June, July of 2020. And I've been on the board since.
Right. And I think that October, you were up for election and you ran and you got elected in at our annual convention, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. That
Okay.
district director was a 2-year term. So that first stint, I was filling the previous director's the remainder of her term, and then I got elected in October 2020, re-elected again in this past October 2022, and so now I'm in my, I guess, starting a second full term, however you want to count it. Now, I'm not counting, RJ. I'm just glad to be here.
Right. What people don't realize, unlike the government, we do have term limits. So we can't run a position until we're 98 and get nothing done. So, John, we appreciate you keep running and being involved. Other than just being a district director, John's gotten involved in other ways for us. He brings so much value to the board in wisdom and asks great questions, and he's very methodical thinker. So you joined our legislative committee, and tell us just a little bit about that really quick, why it's important for you to be part of that legislative committee.
2020 was a controversial year. A lot. I think a lot of us got to realize that so much is out of our control. Like so much was happening to us, whether you're talking about being a chiropractor in practice, or you're just a human trying to go to church, or trying to get a seat on the bus. Like there was all these new rules and regulations that you had to follow, and you're like, who's making these rules? And that was part of the reason I wanted to get involved in the legislative committee, because I wanted to figure out, like, okay, who's in charge here, and how can we get in connection with them, and how can we make something like chiropractors being in Colorado being one of only 2 states that had to shut down during the pandemic, how can we make sure that doesn't ever happen? And that was a big thing that I wanted to get involved with, personally too. With just being a parent and the big vaccine controversy, and it seems like every other year they're pushing new vaccine laws down onto parents. So I was already kind of getting involved with this politics and trying to figure out who my representatives were and who my senator is and how do I meet with them. So I was already kind of leaning that way. And when Dr. Pearson had asked, like, hey, you want to get involved? Where do you want to get involved? I was like, oh, let me get involved with legislative.
No, I think you've done a great job on there. And I know it's like we all have, like we did the border trip, we all have gifts and talents. We all have loves and hates. And I think like that's a really good place for you to be. And I think you're probably excelling at it. And I'm honored and grateful that you stepped up to go be part of that committee, because we need people on committees, and yet no one knows how that they can do that. Like you don't have to be on the board or be a board member or a board member to serve on a committee. So again, if anyone listening this wants to get involved, reach out to Dr. John, and come on and join that committee, because I think we've picked up 3 or 4 other members since the start of the year to go join and serve on this legislative committee, which is awesome. We also have a membership committee. We also have an education committee, and we'll be rolling out more throughout the year. So just if you want to get involved, just let us know. We'll get you in the right committee. Other than that, let's just we're gonna have some fun with this here, and not always make these videos serious. So we're gonna put Dr. John on the hot seat. So you're originally from upstate New York, correct?
No, Long Island, baby. Come on, you can't get that mixed up. Long
See,
Island, New York. Don't
I
not from
wanted to get it
Jersey.
mixed up so I could get you fired up
Not
here a
from,
bit as we enter into these questions. Okay, so first question: Yankees or Mets?
Mets. 86, baby. 86 Mets. Heyday.
Right, strawberry all the way. You got to go with the straw. Rangers, Islanders.
Lenny Dykstra nailed. Oh man, that was our team back then. I played high school baseball, and I can remember, man, we would get together and watch games all the time. And we got together to watch that game 6 versus the Red Sox. Buckner dropped that ball through his legs. We were dancing around. Oh, one of the greatest moments.
I don't know if you heard the last one. I said Rangers or Islanders.
Rangers.
Wow.
Rangers, which I can tell you, growing up in Long Island, I'll tell you a good story. Growing up in Long Island, I'm a kid in the 80s. We're playing roller hockey, whatnot. Man, Islanders were winning championship after championship, right? If you recall, those early 80s with Mike Bossy, Potvin, and Brian Trottier. So I ran into Brian Trottier one time up in Vale. And I was like, man, I got to tell you something. It's like, you ruined my childhood. I was a Ranger fan growing up in Long Island, and you guys are winning all those cups. Oh, man, I took so much heat from my friends. We had a good chuckle with that.
Do you know what the kryptonite to the New York Islanders was?
Kryptonite?
Yeah, the kryptonite to the New York Islanders.
What was that?
Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, we ended their
Uh,
run, man. Then we became the
I wasn't
dynasty.
an
We took
Islanders.
over.
I wasn't an Islanders fan. In fact, I went to my friend's church and they had a raffle and they were giving away a signed hockey stick and they're giving away tickets to a game. I won tickets to an Islanders game. I was like, I don't want to go to this. We ended up
Uh,
going. We had a good time, me and him. But
yeah,
yeah, you know, sports teams in New York, you draw some pretty strong allegiances.
right. 100%, man. It's like
Okay,
me in Edmonton. Boy, I'm a diehard
so,
Oilers
so
fan.
New York Giants. I know you're going to ask the next question.
The next
New
question.
York Giants, New York.
No, I'm not going football anymore. We're going Colorado now. We're going to go Colorado sports. Nuggets or Avs?
Nuggets, babe.
Oh,
Nuggets.
you ruined. I was going to give you crap about naming an Avalanche
You know
player.
what? I know you're a hockey guy. That's cool. I'm tall and thin. I played basketball too. My son's really into basketball, which is exciting now. And but I will tell you this, man, because you brought up the Nuggets, and I wanted to say this is that I've had a lot of conversations with people about the Colorado Chiropractic Association, and I think a lot of what people are operating their opinion on our association is old news. It's like, oh yeah, well, way back when this I had this interaction with the organization, and now I got a bad taste in my mouth. Or way back when the leadership did this. I'll tell you right now, man, if you were following the Nuggets 10 years ago, if you were like you tuned in, watched the Nuggets in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, they had one winning season in like 6 years. If you're operating on that knowledge now, you're like, oh yeah, the Nuggets, they stink. And guess what? No, I'm sorry, buddy. The Nuggets are awesome right now and on their way to win a championship. They got an amazing record. They MVP two years in a row, headed for a third. And the Colorado Chiropractic Association is loaded with new talent, just like the Nuggets are loaded with new talent. And it's a different team that we got here at the CCA. And so don't let your previous experience affect your current enjoyment. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not tuning into the Nuggets because they stunk. Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Different team now, different team at the CCA. Come and check us out.
Dude, I got nothing. That's mic drop. We're ending on that. So I can't say it any better than Dr. John did. Nothing else is going to change what Dr. John just said. We are the Nuggets. We have MVPs. I mean, that's what I take away from this. Dr. John, you just blew my mind with that analogy. That's why you're on the board. That's why we love having you. And that's the wisdom we love that you bring to our meetings. So just understand chiropractors in Colorado and outside of Colorado, you're in good hands. This board loves chiropractic. This board loves making sure we can practice within our scope of practice. And like I said, we all bought in this philosophy that we're going to make it more about you, the chiropractor, than about chiropractic. So, Dr. John, thank you for being on here. I thank you for your service. And man, I don't think we can say anything better than what you just said.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you
Till,
soon.
till next time, power's on.